feeling's right. Hey, where did we go wrong? It seems like honesty ain't held as closely as it used to be, so tell me.
Hello, everyone. This is your always tactful host, Pendy.
And this is Paul, also known as EastX Twitch.
Ladies and gentlemen, slimes and drackies, boy, do we have a show for you tonight.
Show? You mean the podcast?
In this corner, we have the Gallipolis Sultan of SWAT. He floats like a damselfly, stings like a rumblebee, the Erdrian Nightmare, EastX. Twitch.
That's me, but are we in a boxing ring? I didn't sign on for this.
And in this corner, we have the Zenithian Wunderkind. He puts the bang and big banga slash. He has a flash in his slash. He's sure to hit you with his Giga Sword. It's Solo.
Wait, I have to fight the protagonist of Dragon Quest IV? I don't think this is a fair match. And he's got a sword. There's no swords in boxing.
Any thoughts on the match before we start, Solo? I completely agree. EastX Twitch, your thoughts on the match?
He didn't even say anything. Never mind. I am not okay with this.
It's too late to back out. Your Ronk has already been confirmed. Let's get ready to Royal Rumble.
Ow! Hey! Not the face! Ah!
While EastX is getting pummeled mercilessly, I'll go ahead and welcome our audience to Tactfully Dai, a Slime Time podcast spin-off that covers just about everything in the world of Dragon Quest, the Adventure of Dai, and the Dragon Quest Tact mobile game.
That's right. We'll talk about the latest and greatest happenings in Dragon Quest Tact first. Now that I've miraculously recovered from my injuries and Pendy's shenanigans, I'd love to talk some Tact.
Great news, everyone. We have 2,913,477 days left of Tact.
What's that you're talking about?
I don't think it's there anymore, but they accidentally put a timer on the first Halloween Reminiscence event, and that's the time that was displayed left on that event.
I see. So that would be like 7,982 years left of Tact. I don't think my wallet can handle spending money on gems for that long. I'm already sleeping under a tent, dang it.
I don't think my lifespan can handle that either.
Well, you'd better give up your 6-pack-a-day smoking habit then. We'll probably both need to ask our king and queen, Magellan and Mendini, to grant us more life so that we can keep on playing and buying gems in the far future.
I can't argue with that. I'm really looking forward to the first 1,000-year event. Maybe by then, poor Boria or Bray, depending on your translation that you're familiar with, from Dragon Quest IV will show up as a character in one of these Dragon Quest side games. They seem to forget he exists.
That's because old people aren't sexy, dude. Everybody knows that. Speaking of forgetting, we completely forgot to talk about the DQ Aces tournament last episode.
We did! An oversight on my part. It was a great tournament that Mesmeron put together.
You couldn't whale your way through it either. I know you found that frustrating. Haha.
Not at all. It was fun to prepare for it. So the rules were 30 weight max for your entire team. No S, A, or B rank units allowed. All members of the 3 Aces guilds were invited to participate.
Everyone really had to choose wisely with their setups, I heard.
Indeed. I was sad you didn't participate as well.
That would have been nice, but I go through really, really busy periods at work, and I'm still currently in one of those, so unfortunately I couldn't spare the time.
Despite the absence of our fearless leader, we had 16 people participate.
That's the spirit. How did you do in the tourney?
Well, I exited the tournament early. I made a horrible mistake of charging in too fast. That was dumb because with the different move values of my characters, I stretched out my team too thin and paid the price. It was a slow war of attrition and trading blows on status effects that I eventually lost. Ortega, who I was matched up against, got the much-deserved win.
You did your best, my man. Ortega may have gotten the best of you, but he didn't steamroll the others. The 2 finalists were Colton and Constellar.
We were hoping to watch the match live streamed, but unfortunately that didn't happen. Constellar did record the match, however, and we'll have it linked in the show notes.
Glad he captured it. Congratulations to Connie on his spectacular Aces Guild tournament win.
Yes. Now, on to more recent events with the results of the co-op Mega Boss Battle against Psaro the Manslayer.
In this event, each guild's members had to work together cooperatively to defeat the Mega Boss version of Green Psaro from Dragon Quest IV. Everyone was ranked by the total damage you could do to the boss. Our guild, Aces 1, had a very strong finish with 4th place overall among all the guilds.
The top 5 was Starfall, Arena Watch, Zenith TH, DQ2 Aces 1, our guild, and White Cats Rock and Roll.
Suck on that, Big Dracky squad. Anyway, strong daily participation from all members of the guild was essential for this event.
You found out real quick how active your guild really was in this event.
That's right. We saw a lot of people in the Facebook group that wanted to join a more active guild because of the event, and we also saw guilds looking to recruit more active members.
A whole lot of moving and shaking going on after the event was over, that's for sure.
Within our own guild, I was ranked 13th place, and you were 7th. Keep in mind that I had a mess up at the start of a fight one night, and nobody would rescue me, otherwise I'd have scored slightly higher.
We had a nice system going to keep track of everyone. I made a Google spreadsheet for it. The game only told you so much data, but I was able to use it to see who had already gone for the day by keeping track of everyone's individual daily scores.
Plus, you were able to see how everyone scored over time. That way we knew who to call on when the current version of the boss was down to its last bit of health. We didn't want someone who could score 1 million taking on a boss with only 300,000 health left, for example.
Yep, it took a lot of coordination and it worked out pretty well. And I only made the spreadsheet thanks to your suggestion.
It may not be often, but I have been known to come up with good ideas pretty often. Oh wait, that is often.
By finishing in the top 10, we all got 5,000 gems. Plus we got lots of gold and Zenithian swords for all the different Psaro the Manslayers we defeated.
You know who lost, though?
Who's that?
You did. As I mentioned earlier, our guild soundly defeated the Big Dracky squad, those jerks, but we didn't defeat the Arena Watch team, of course.
No! Well, a promise is a promise. I will have to shave my head bald. Maybe just half because we beat one team but not the other?
No, the whole thing, or at least everything except for a circle of hair on the outside. No trying to get out of it now.
I know. We'll post pictures of my beautiful Chrome Dome when it happens, which may just happen to coincide with a future Master Roshi cosplay I'm doing.
Well, Mr. Roshi, I hope you're ready for one of your signature nosebleeds, since the mystical Giuliante has arrived intact.
Oh yeah, that's right. Her combination of speed, charm effect, and evasion makes her a top unit. I have her at 2 hearts so far. How about you?
Well, I've only got her with 0 hearts, which took, of course, the unsuccessful paid pull and then 8 regular pulls. And that's fine because she's actually an important unit. It's just that I'm afraid to spend more gems right now with Dragon Quest Day on the horizon because that should be happening on the 26th or the 27th. So I'm going to wait and see how those banners look.
Oh yeah, it should be the 20. Well, in Japan it's the 27th. So whenever that falls for us, and
Right.
they're ahead of us.
Which I seem to remember was the day before for us last year.
Yeah, did they give it to us the day before? That's right, because we're going to go off our own time, duh. So they gave it to us like the day before Dragon Quest Day? Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but it is Dragon Quest Day for them since they're hours ahead. But
Yes,
yeah.
true. Yeah. And this brings me to something that really made me mad about Tact.
Really? Because that's usually my job.
This time I'll lead. I was expecting to get my Giuliante and Astaroth to 3 hearts with the Family Shard event that they advertised.
You love those events, too. You notoriously burn a lot of stamina and bridges when they come around.
I won't be able to do it for a while now. The day the Shard event was supposed to come out, the developer canceled it and informed us that it's not going to happen now until July or after July. Who knows when? Totally ridiculous. I was depending on that 3rd heart for both of those characters to be a lot more viable.
Yeah, that was a surprise, and you just have to wonder why it happened. Technical reason? Probably not, because they've had this exact same kind of thing before, so it seems more likely that they just don't want it to coincide with other things that are happening in our version of the game, which equates to them being stingy with us.
Yeah, they need to get their act together. We've got the Lawson's debacle, no guild chat, and now this. And come on, throw us a gem sale every once in a great while, would you? Come on, Tact. Let's not make Tact Global another failed DQ gotcha game. It's been going pretty strong so far.
Yeah, I have to agree with you that gem sales are a thing that should happen. It's so weird for this one game to just say, no, we will not do sales, even though virtually every other free-to-play game does sales sometimes, and obviously doing sales must stimulate sales. This game's strategy is just do too many high-quality banners at once. That's how we'll bring in the extra money. So strange that they think that way, although I guess it does work for them financially. However, I don't think it means the game is in any danger unless they just really start screwing us over all the time. But one little mess up every now now and then isn't going to spoil the game.
True. Now, before we get into our tip of the day, how has your time been with the most recent round of Real-Time Arena?
Well. Actually, I decided to start using Green Psaro, who's fully blossomed.
Nice.
And yeah, as long as you make him fast, he is an unfairly good unit, although the new Giuliante, he can't do much to her, can he? But against a lot of the units, he's very good. So I've actually been having a pretty good time with it. I'm using CGM with only 3 hearts. Really, really wish I had 5 hearts on him. If there's ever an opportunity, I'm gonna burn some gems to get that up. But anyway, a lot of fun until I finally reach Master 3, and that's when the Master level is when they start just putting you up against the whales. Just trying to break your spirit for whatever reason. I guess they think it's funny. It's not funny. It's a little bit frustrating. But today I had time to play exactly 3 matches after work before the time ran out, and I won 2 of them. So at least today was a fun day.
Nice.
How about you?
Well, my plan was to try and actually put in the time to see if I could get in the top 50 at first. But then I ran into 2 roadblocks. First, not being able to get that 3rd heart for Mystical Giuliante, which I was banking on in the middle of this, as we just talked about. At first, I was using Psaro the Manslayer, Solo, Maya, and Vera. It worked pretty well for me. I could overwhelm a lot of people, and the team even had a fair amount of endurance, especially if Vera was left around or not put to sleep, which was her biggest weakness. I only got crushed by the Super Whales or her fellow guild members like Last Dawn or Colton, who hung way back with a good healer. They had a more effective tactic than I had doing that. I just don't enjoy playing like that for most of the time.
Agreed. It is so annoying when other players hang back like that. It's just not any fun to fight those people. I wish they wouldn't.
Now, with the weight limit down in the second round of this, I have Grey Gnarl in there, but I was hoping for a solid Giuliante instead, because you get that 3rd heart for most characters like that, and it makes a huge difference.
Oh, yeah.
I might try her out there anyway. I don't know. Plus, I realized my Japan/Korea vacation was going to overlap with the tournament period, and RTA will just take a backseat to that.
Of course.
Yes, and also, after going hard for a week, I realized I just don't have the appetite to play it that much. I admire someone like our fellow guildmate Mabros who does it all the time. I will get to Legend before it's over, like I have been, but probably call it good for that, except for doing the daily.
I don't blame you. I think RTA is very fun, except once you start getting matched up against Super Whales, like, what fun is there to have? You're just waiting to abandon when your guys finally get to move, because of course they all outspeed you, It's just a shame that they have it set up that way. Like, yeah, those guys deserve to enjoy the game for spending so much money to support it, but can't we just let them pick on each other instead of the less fortunate among us? Now then, before we get into the die portion of the show, it's time for the Tact Tip of the Day.
Tip of the day!
Did you know that Discord is a great way to communicate between members of your guild? In fact, it's the best way.
That's right, tacticians. Without a guild chat, any coordination you might need to do for guild arena tournaments or the more recent co-op Mega Boss Battle would be near impossible.
With the Discord app, creating a chat room for your guild is free and easy. Just don't leak government secrets, would you?
That's good advice. And amazing! That was our Tact Tip of the Day. Tip of the Day! Now let's get into some die.
Every week, we're going to review 2 episodes from the newest Dragon Quest The Adventure of Dai anime.
We'll also get into some other Dai-related news, such as the upcoming Dai console game, merchandise, and whatever else we find in the world of Dai.
Sadly, neither of us plays the mobile games, since it no longer exists.
At least not here, as we'll get into later. First, we have episode 35, The Incident at the Finals. Mam agrees to win the tournament for Dai to get the Sword of Champions. What's the deal with Zamza, though? What does he have in store for our heroes?
We start the episode with Dai and Pop trying to convince Mom to win the Romos martial arts tournament so that Dai can acquire the Sword of Champions.
Mam initially refuses because she doesn't want Dai to use the sword to kill his father.
Pop puts up a pretty solid argument about Dai's need for the sword, though. Baran, the villain, plans to eventually kill off humanity, and Dai needs a legendary weapon to stand against him. Pop's really starting to develop as a more mature person when he's not being antagonized by Chu.
Dai follows up with some pretty convincing reasons of his own, so Mam finally agrees to help out.
It was a foregone conclusion that Mom would come around, so I'm glad they resolved it so quickly. The trio then steps out to check on Chu's progress in his match. By the way, Chu is a diminutive fat rat who studied martial arts alongside Mom.
He's not doing too well in the match, however.
Even with Chu's signature attack, the Rattest Fastest Fist, the little guy is no match for his opponent, Zangief.
Oh no, more fisting?
No, No. We're not going down that road again.
Chu loses the match. Mam then gives him the unfortunate news that his limbs are just too short to be a successful martial artist.
Size does matter for martial artists, apparently. Poor Chu is absolutely devastated by the realization.
Everyone moves to the stands to watch Mam's next bout, and we find out Chu had entered the tournament just to look cool and try to impress Mam.
Hey, I do it too. Pop chides him for his foolishness, though. Their bickering makes for some fun comic relief.
Mam survives the ensuing rounds with ease. The tournament is soon narrowed down to 8 contestants.
Yeah, then they introduce the 8 contestants, who are pretty normal Dragon Quest characters for the most part, such as a warrior, wizard, whip guy, all that, except for the weird ghost guy. It's hard to tell what's going on with him.
Weird indeed. Wait. I just realized something too. The announcer guy is using a wireless microphone. Suddenly we have this kind of electronic technology in this medieval setting.
Well, there was also the mall a while back. It resembled a modern mall in technological ways, but still had a medieval style to it.
And maybe the mic's not actually electronic. The MC could be just using a spell to project his voice, or the item has been imbued with a spell that does it for him.
In this show, when in doubt, magic did it.
Right. Magic did it. Anyways, Zamza, the not obviously evil guy at all, is invited to explain the rules of the remaining fights.
Instead, it's pretty shocking, just shocking, when he congratulates the fighters on becoming samples for the Dark Army and summons a weird-looking cage that traps them all.
Zamza then transforms into his true Darkling form, revealing himself as the son of Zabora.
The son of a gun needs the 8 competitors as part of the Mystic Legion's research into superior beings.
Ah, yes. Hadlar revealed that he knew of that research a few episodes back.
Zamza tries to take out the King of Romos with a spell, but Dai heroically blocks it.
Meanwhile, the fighters inside the cage try to break out, but nothing they do makes a dent.
Turns out the cage is actually a living creature that somehow resists all attacks.
Zamza later refers to it as a bio-prison as he tries to blast Chu for trying to break into it. On a side note, the little moments where Gome-chan bites on Chu's ear to either save him or get him to comply were pretty cute.
Indeed they were. Zamza pelts Dai with spell after spell, but our hero aptly defends himself.
The big bad guy explains that the Superior Being Project is about combining monsters with a Darkling to create a fighter on par with a Dragon Knight.
They don't want to keep using Darklings as test subjects, though, so Zamza decides to start capturing humans instead.
Hearing Zamza's plans enrages Dai, who lands a punch square to the villain's face, knocking him right into a brick wall.
Dai then continues to pummel his foe.
Chu and Pop both notice that Zamza is taking more damage than he should be able to withstand. Something isn't quite right.
Yeah, even Dai's crest beam can't take him out.
Zamza reveals that the Superior Being Project is 90% complete. Somehow they got to that percentage, and that he has used his body as a base to combine with 100 monsters.
That's a lot of monsters. The Fiend reveals his true form then, turning into a gigantic monster.
And this is where the episode ends. To me, it was kind of a disappointing episode when I watched it initially. I liked seeing Mam in action with her new skills and wasn't happy that she gets captured and gets taken out of the episode, midway through. I'm still not sure if I'm a fan of that superior being form of Zamza either. It's a mess of a different design elements, and I think it just falls flat here. I know he's supposed to be a mess of different monsters fused with him, but it just looks kind of goofy, in my opinion. The transformation scene was pretty cool, though, when he's going from his original form to his superior being form. Very well animated. And having heard the dub now, I do like the voice for Zamza. Like many actors on this show, he plays multiple characters, including Kilvern. So what'd you think of this?
Well, I have to agree that the design for Zamza's super form isn't so great. It actually reminds me of like American designs for Transformers, the American Transformers movies, for instance, or even the American Power Ranger Megazords that in the different Power Rangers live action movies they've had. They always look like just these goofy thrown together things instead of beautifully designed things like you typically get from Japanese artists. So yeah, it's a little underwhelming in that regard, but they do make him suitably imposing just with his power and his ability to withstand damage and all that kind of stuff. And you mentioned Mom getting taken out of the fight pretty early. And yeah, I think the tournament itself was cool, and it really could have supported more episodes had this particular version of the show not been designed to move at such a quick pace, Yeah,
I agree.
Next, we have episode 36, The Superior Being versus Chu. Chu, the mighty rat with small limbs and a big heart takes on the mighty superior being Zamza. Who will come out on top?
So we begin the episode with Dai batting around Zamza's monstrous new form.
Unfortunately, Dai has burned through much of his Dragon Knight energy and is starting to waver. This is based on the lame new mechanic that was introduced a few episodes ago. Dai can only use his power for a short while, like Ultraman.
Zamza reveals a horrendous mouth in his stomach, and he plans to use it to devour Dai.
Yes, as regular viewers of the show will know, Dai is delicious. After Dai uses up his strength and passes out, Pop steps forward to try to save him from getting eaten, though.
Pop blasts away piece after piece of Zamza, and then smashes him with a Kafriz spell.
Pop then commands Chu to rescue Dai while Zamza is stunned by the spell, but little Chu is too scared to move.
Pop moves to get Dai himself, but then is almost pierced with the claw that Dai had previously broken.
No, it's not a continuity error. It turns out that superior beings can rapidly heal from injuries.
At 90% complete, the only thing Zamza can't do is cast spells.
Or learn how to love. Zamza can't eat things with his extra mouth, though, and he manages to devour Dai with it.
Uh-oh. Well, I guess Dai is done for. I guess that might be the end of the show. Or maybe in the next episode, the show's name will change to Dragon Quest, The Adventure of Chu.
It rolls right off the tongue, but it's doubtful. After eating the hero, Zamza lurches forward to finish off poor Pop.
But after stealing his resolve, Chu challenges Zamza to a fight.
The little guy launches attack after attack, only to get batted away each time.
Meanwhile, in the bio prison, most of the fighters have given up hope of ever breaking free.
What a bunch of wieners. Mom chides them for giving up, and she's determined to escape somehow.
She starts to pummel the cage, but the ghost tells her that she must stop that and utilize the power she has gained through her training.
How would the ghost guy know that? Either he has unique ghostly insight, or there's more to him than meets the eye.
Before she can figure out what to do next, though, a mysterious gas fills the chamber, threatening to paralyze everyone inside.
Outside of the bio prison, Pop notices that Zamza is also breathing through his stomach.
Our heroic sorcerer gets with Chu to plan an attack where Pop will blast him and Chu will dislodge Dai with one of his attacks.
Pop then reluctantly borrows a technique from a previous opponent.
That's right. 1, 2, Flazard's 5-finger flares.
3, sir. Only 3.
Pop admits that he was trying to cast 5 flares, but only had enough magic power to produce 3.
It's good enough, though. It's still enough to leave Zamza reeling and burning from the attack, thankfully.
This starts to asphyxiate him, forcing him to use his stomach to breathe, and creates an opening to free Dai.
Chu rolls himself up into a ball and bashes Zamza, Sonic the Hedgehog style.
This causes Zamza to partially spit out Dai.
Unfortunately, Chu is too pleased with himself and turns around, trying to figure out a name for his new attack.
Just as he figures out that it should be called the Raddest Rocket Ram, Zamza's foot squishes him into the ground.
Inside the bio prison, Mom has surrounded herself with her healing magic to resist the gas.
She then lines up with a special technique that is able to blast through the wall.
She uses the same move to blow Zamza away for a bit, allowing her to rescue Chu and restore him with a mid-heal spell.
And I like seeing this. It reminded me of the Dragon Quest III class changes where you could retain spells you learned in your previous class.
Yep, that's a cool concept. Didn't one version of Dragon Quest VII let you do that? I forget.
Yes. Yeah, in the first version of 7, I think you retained everything, and then in the remake, you would only retain certain spells and abilities, kind of forced you to strategize what different classes you would use. And then if you used Monster Hearts and did monster classes, those were the exception to the rule where you would learn all of the abilities from that monster class permanently. So it incentivized you to get more monster classes. It was an interesting change to the remake.
Well, good memory there, dude.
Mm-hmm.
The technique that Mom has been using is called the Refractor Fist. Don't you even start, Pendy. I know what you're thinking.
All right. This technique prevents Zamza from regenerating.
Good. Zamza doesn't admit defeat, though. He lunges towards Mom and...
That's the end of the episode.
Boo! We'll see Mom really show what she's capable of next episode. So, a few thoughts. Firstly, this episode has a good pace. It's exciting throughout. Pop, Chu, and Mom all do a good job while Dai is knocked out. They all have great moments, and I enjoy watching them work together. I did notice in the English dub, the ghost guy's voice is not so strong. I'd say, it's like just obviously somebody doing a voice and doesn't sound very natural.
Okay. Overall, I thought the episode was all right. Now, Chu finding his strength and helping Pop out was a really good part of the episode. That was the highlight for me. I'm just impatient to see Mam show off more of her new fighting technique.
Yeah, you're right, because we've seen just a little bit of her fighting prowess, but not enough just yet. Also, I wanted to point out, speaking of the dub, that, a few episodes back, we changed to a new ending song. And boy, I forget how exactly it sounds in the Japanese one, the English songs are just imitating the Japanese, which is usually a cool way to do those songs. But yeah, this newer song is just not as good as the previous one, so that's a shame.
Oh, that's too bad. I'm cool with it. All of the ones that are in English, and I was surprised that they did any of the songs in English. You really don't see that too often with a dub for Japanese anime.
Yeah, it's highly optional to do that, and since it costs money to record new versions of a song, they just usually don't.
Yeah, but I'm good with these. I agree that the original singers are a little bit better, and I don't know if I have any particular opinion that this new ending song is any worse than the other two, but yeah, it's all right. It's still interesting to see. It's just I'm not used to it. I'm still getting used to hearing these songs in English because I'm always used to just they keep the Japanese all the way through when it comes to openings and endings for anime. So very interesting.
Fair enough.
Before we leave you today, we have a couple of more Dai-related items to review. Over on Slime Time Prime, we did a memorial episode for the mobile game Dragon Quest: The Adventure of Dai, A Hero's Bonds.
We did. Episode 73. Pendy and I delivered our patented tag team action by interviewing Silver...
Yeah, Silver Aphelion. Silver Aphelion. See, I can't.
Silver Affiliate.
Silver Affiliate. Silver Aphelion.
That's what I said. And a nice time was had by all.
While the game is ending globally and in Japan, apparently it lives on in China.
Yep, we've learned that A Hero's Bonds just started up in China a few weeks ago.
Wasn't the game already in Chinese, though?
Yes, however, that was for the good people of Taiwan, a place with a pretty strong fan following for Dragon Quest.
The version for China is interesting. I was able to see some screenshots of it posted by Esoterica on the Dragon's Den Discord. It's a slightly tweaked version of what we had before. Menu icons have different designs, and the menus themselves seem to be set up differently.
Apparently, it can take months or even years for games to be approved for release in China, which explains why this version is just now starting up.
So I wonder if it will have the same abridged lifespan as it did here. If it's popular, though, will they make more content for it, I wonder? It will be interesting to see what becomes of it.
Time will tell. Now, I hear you've got a new piece of Dai-related hardware?
I do. I just received the Knife of Papnica.
Where'd you get it? Was it bestowed to you by a princess of Papnica?
Nothing fancy as that. I was able to find this one on eBay.
Wow, what's the design like? As we discussed last episode, canonically, there are 3 different knives of Papnica.
So this one is the Sun Knife. It's the first knife that Leona gives to Dai. Because it's the Sun Knife, it has that red jewel. It's all plastic, seems pretty well made. It looks just like the knife from the anime, and it's full size. It's going to be great to display or use for cosplay. I really like it.
Nice pickup, dude. Just make sure you don't destroy it with your pendonic aura.
Pendy Strash. Nope, I'm good. Still in one piece.
Let's quit before you accidentally stab someone. In fact, that's all for this episode of Slime Time Tactfully Dai. Listeners, if you want to prepare for our next episode, be sure to watch episodes 37 and 38 of The Adventure of Dai on Crunchyroll, the library app Hoopla, Voodoo, or the Microsoft Store.
We're a non-profit podcast. We won't half-inch your hard-earned gold when we can offer you quality content for free. But if you do have some extra gold that's just completely burning a hole in your wallet, pouch, bottomless bag, treasure chest, or searchable wall sack, and you would like to donate anything to a website that's been supporting Dragon Quest fans for over 25 years, stop by the Dragon's Den by clicking the link in the show notes. There are several ways to support the Den, including the affiliate links that don't cost you anything extra when making other Dragon Quest purchases.
We even have a Slime Time t-shirt you can buy, designed by our resident artist, Dwayne, not to be confused with Dwayne The Rock Johnson. See the link for the shirt in the show notes.
As part of the Slime Time Extended Universe, or STU, you can direct comments or questions for the podcast on Twitter and Instagram at DQ Slime Time.
And you can follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/EastX Twitch. Come watch me play a variety of games every Saturday, kids.
Join in tons of Dragon Quest discussion at the Dragon's Den forums or Discord, and the Dragon Questers, Infinity Strash, and Dragon Quest Tact Global Facebook groups.
We'd like to thank everyone that made this possible, including Pendy, Woodus, the Dragon's Den, and the Writers Guild of America. We support their strike, and this podcast doesn't count against it since we do it all for free.
Please like, subscribe, and write a review for the podcast.
We'll catch you later, everybody. Don't hate, appreciate.
Time to zoom on out of here.
Lately days are getting dark before you've had a chance. But remind yourself the truth can be a never-ending task. Even now, with what we've got, how far can we go until it's gone? Sometimes I swear I hear a voice, look, no one's in the other room. All alone I thought I had an I made a promise to remember every little thing, to every piece of my heart, keeping the fire burning, letting in the light to see what's waiting for me on the other side of this world. I wanna change, so reach out and find the path that no one else can. Tell us what's to come and who's waiting for us to show them a new way of.
This is Gertrude for Slime Time, reminding you all that you must complete your adventure.